Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevalam. You want to hear a song? It's okay. Yes? Let's see if something comes. Keep this on this side.
Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga Bolo jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankara ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai. Yamuna ki jai jai. Ganga ki jai jai.
That was fun. Now, it just came to me while the song was going on that there are many spiritual traps actually, and I want to spend a minute or two just discussing them. And they are actually meant to be pointers, but then they become new prisons. So the idea of reality and unreality. So most of us start off with the idea that all of this is real. You see? Then we come to Vedanta and we say it's not real, it's Maya. You see? But then we get attached to that idea and we try to spend the rest of our life as someone who's saying none of this is real, none of this is real. You see? So, but we have to transcend even that. You see? We have to transcend the concept of reality to come to reality. You see? Transcend the concept, the notion of reality and unreality. And then when you transcend that, that is reality. So don't take a position, this is all so real. Don't take a position, this is also unreal. Because neither are true, actually. We are attached to one position that it's all real, and to allow us to let go of that attachment, it is pointed to us that it's not real. You see? But the fact is, the notion of real and unreal itself is not real. Who can, who can meet me here? You see? So, like a child, let's put it simply, does not have an idea of real and unreal, and yet they are free. You see? You hear what I'm saying? Especially for the Vedantins, it's important to hear this because that which is meant to take them beyond the notion of Maya and not Maya, then we can get stuck in the notion that oh, all of this is Maya, and therefore there's sort of subtle opposition to this. You see? But the notion of reality and unreality itself is not real. Same way we can feel like we could start off by thinking, I am separate, I am me, she is she, he is she, he is he, have these kind of ideas. You see? And then we try to become one. You see? No, no, actually we are one. We are actually one. You see, and we get stuck in that idea of one. But it's not like that. You see? So we must be rid now of the idea of separation and oneness, both. You see? That is when you come to true oneness. Just like when you transcend the idea of reality and unreality, you come to true reality. When you transcend the idea of two and one, then you come to true non-duality or Advaita. Just don't bother with it. It's a good question. How do I transcend? You see? Because it feels like I have I have to take one of these two positions. And that's why I gave the child example. A child does not have the idea of one or separation, and yet they are free. Empty. But empty also of the notion of empty. You see? Because we can have an idea of empty, which is like a dark empty space. You see, or visualize, we may be visualizing some empty. And when I say open and empty, we may be visualizing like that. And the minute the feeling of some constriction comes, I'm no longer open and empty, I lost it. You see? But it's neither of those. Open to both, empty of both. You see? Empty of attachment to either. Conceptual emptiness. Empty of notion and attachment to either. Does it feel a bit confusing? It can be for the intellect because the intellect only understands here. Really? But the job in satsang is to come here. So as we let go of this, and our spiritual notions, especially very importantly, and those of you who feel like you've been on the spiritual search for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, some of us, then this is what may be happening to you. Because you may be getting more and more attached to spiritual conditioning, which is not real. Hearing problem? Okay, let's see. Then next one says, Father, a video highlight of satsang shared a couple of weeks ago really struck deep. It was the one titled, What Do We Mean by Ego or Person? You compared everything manifest, including this body mind, to a movie playing by itself. And that satsang is letting the movie be a movie. Yes. I am very grateful for it. Many, many thanks. So welcome, my dear. So welcome. Very good. Very good. Dear Father, do you feel fully aware when the body is in sleep? Yes. Same as you. Yes, and same as you. And maybe the mind will not understand my answer, but you are fully aware, you see, in your reality. All these states, they come and go. All these states, they come and go. The absence of the manifest is also something that only you can be aware of as pure awareness itself. So the ability to be able to say that there is sleep, you see, and it's not a mythical idea, although ultimately it is, but provisionally speaking, the ability to say that I sleep comes from our awareness of the absence of the manifest. Okay, there's a long report. Let's have some water before that. Father, I have come a long way during the lockdown. You know that I went through mind storms and grace pulled me out and elevated me all the more. A lot of wild thoughts came and I surrendered them at your feet. Learned not to indulge the mind at all, and it tried to overcome mental concepts by acting them out. Felt fully liberated and free at times. Came to realize that there is just knowing, and everything and experience is only knowing. Now I have come to a stage where thoughts and feelings and actions come, but there is no clinging. Good or bad, they come and go. The movie goes on, and I witness it and feel more peace and joy. The understanding and seeing is deepening. What next, Master? Enjoy it, no? You want spoilers for the movie? You see? Once there is no fear involved, then nobody wants spoilers. It is only our fear which makes us say, so what next? I hope I'll be okay. You see? I hope I'm going to get even better. You see? But so beautifully, both of you, both the previous questions called this a movie. So if you were going for a movie and you bought like premium seats, you see, best immersive experience, and somebody in your family, your sibling, your brother, sister, somebody comes, come, I'll tell you what happened, da, this one dies at the end. Yeah. Will you not be upset? But I bought these seats and I was looking forward to the IMAX thing, and and you just came and spoiled the whole thing for me. So how is it that the movie, you see, which is so much less immersive, we don't want to know, but life, which is so much more immersive as an experience, at least so far, we still want to know what next. You see? Isn't this a glorious movie? You see? The difference only is that here you think that something can happen to you. There you realize that you will just be the witness no matter what happens in which scene of the movie. You see? So the master is there to reassure you that this is also just like that. No matter what scene plays out, you will never be anything other than the witnessing of it. You see, the awareness of it. You will just be aware of even the perception of the movie. And nothing can come in the movie. Sometimes I say, what can appear here that can give awareness a slap? You see? So, if you take yourself to be something, you see, only then that fear can be there of something happening to you. Otherwise, you don't want spoilers in this movie. Like, I don't want spoilers in this movie. I don't want to know what happened next. If somebody comes and tells me, tomorrow your day will go like this will happen, then this will happen, then this. It's no fun. It's only we get into all of this astrology and wanting to know and all of this because we feel scared. We feel like something may happen to us and we want to be reassured that we will be okay. You see? So I'm actually giving all of you blanket reassurance that no matter what happens here, this entire universe may burn to bits, but you will be okay. You see? Then you don't want to spoil it. Enjoy the movie. It's there for your enjoyment. Father, is there a difference between suffering and depression? Kind of. Don't bother with these things. As long as you are not suffering, you're okay. Next one says, "Hi Ananta, can you please talk about personhood a bit? What does this mean in your day-to-day interactions with people? Thanks a lot, Priya. Can you please talk about personhood a bit?" So, what is personhood? Personhood is egotism, right? What is egotism? That I take myself to be something that I am not. I take myself to have a boundary. I take myself to have attributes that this is what applies to me. This is when I was born. This is my life. This is how I am. This is what is true. All of these ideas, any of these ideas is egotism. The idea that I am right about something is ego. You see? So, this personhood is nothing but this egotism. You see? So, then you say, can you please talk about personhood a bit? What does this mean in your day to day interactions with people? You don't have to bother with anything about the activity of this body or the functioning of this universe. You see? To be absent of the ego doesn't have to change the activities of one appearance in this manifest, which is this body. You see, this can continue to flow like the ocean is coming to the shore. You see, all the waves come. We don't say, but what does it mean for that wave if the ocean is free? You see, the question itself signifies that we are still taking ourselves to be one particular body. You see, in a different mood, I could have said, which body's interaction are you talking about? You see, so this identity, because there is like a centrality of visual perspective or perceptual perspective, we feel like we are something contained in this body or we are this body. You see, very few in the room will actually take themselves to be this body, but most of you may still have this idea that you are something contained inside this body, but that is just not true. An object can only contain other objects. A body which is objective can only contain other objects. You are not an object. If you were an object, then some surgeon would have found you by now. Yes, cut the body. Oh, there you are. This is you. Who am I? Take. You see? But it's not like that. You are not objective. You see? So when we say day-to-day interactions, whose are we talking about? We're talking about the rising of this waking state, and in that all of this seems to function. The sun goes. You see? You could identify with the sun. You could say, I am the sun. You see, I arise on this side and I set on that side. You see? So anything that is manifest, you can actually identify with. You see, when we get into these strong relationships, sometimes our identification is more with another body than this with this body. You see, you'll say, hurt me, but don't hurt my beloved. You see, what is that? That is identification with that. No? So it happens this way, isn't it? In the same way, some attach so much to their objective so-called possession. Some are very attached to their car, for example, or their money, or something like that. No? What is that? It is just consciousness's ability to identify with an appearance in this manifest waking state. You see, and then what happens? The waking state comes, but the waking state goes, and you are left with nothing, nothing. You see, you are still there, but all of this gone. You never know. When you go to sleep tonight, you don't actually know whether this will ever come back, this universe in this color and form. You see, then you may experience what we call a dream state, but that may seem real. I had the strangest dream. You see, where there was this man Ananta. He was talking all kinds of absurd things. You see, about the unreality or about how I am beyond this waking state. You see. So let this entire waking state play like the movie, and don't identify so much with the activity of one body and call it my day-to-day interactions. You see, let the whole river flow. The river is flowing in its own momentum. You see, so the same projector that is projecting all of this is projecting this body also. You see? Sometimes I ask, what makes this a doing versus the movement of a cloud happening? How is this a doing? Huh?
Because of the identity, I say.
Identity, you take it to be your body, and you claim to have some individual agency or volition contained in about this particular body, but you have as much volition over this body as you have over the entire universe. You see? So if you take yourself to be the non-existent, you have none. You see? And if you take to yourself to be consciousness, it's all yours. All is your will. Guru Kripa Kevalam. You see? So you have as much volition over the moving of this mouth as much as the movement of the sun, or the apparent movement of the sun. You see? And don't fall into this trap of non-doership. You see? Because many feel like, but I didn't do that. You see, but you're still referring to yourself as this particular body. You see? And I have a nice samurai sword for that notion of non-doership. I say, who is the you who is not the doer? You see? Who is that you who is not the doer? You say, I am not the doer. It's very popular in Advaita now to say, I am not the doer, but I am not the doer. You see, but you're still that I? Are you really? Then you must be some very low grade puppet or something. Isn't it? Yeah, I am not the doer. You see, still referring to ourselves as this body mind. You see, but now absent of even the ability to do. You see? Who is that you who is not the doer? Is it still you? Was it ever you? And why we say I am not the doer? It has its place. I may say it in the next question. But you see what I'm saying? So, if this question applies to you, then what are you taking yourself to be in terms of day-to-day interactions? Are you just talking about this entire manifest world that shows up, or are you talking about one tiny aspect of this manifest world? Okay. Can you clarify the relationship between and the difference between the witnessed and the witnessing? You see? Now, difference is not real. Like distinctions are only in the intellect. Actually, there is no such thing as witnessed and witnessing. They're just thought experiments. They're just pointers. Go with that which is witnessing all of this which is witnessed. You see? Is there actually a distinction between the witness and the witnessing? You would only be able to say that if you came to the discovery of the witnessing in some sort of a phenomenal way, which you can never do. And some of you may not understand this. It's absolutely fine for now. You see, you will never come to the discovery of the witnessing or the awareness or yourself in any sort of phenomenal way. And you can only draw distinctions or differences between two separate qualities. You cannot draw it between that which is qualityless. You see? So maximum you can say that in my true reality I am absent of all qualities. You see, but even that is just provisional. You see? And don't get into that trap, because you will end up taking yourself to be like some blank empty space. You see, now this blank empty space is like looking at everything. You see, that's not real, that's not true. Many in satsang like this can start visualizing themselves to be some sort of a blank empty space. You're not a blank empty space which just is witnessing. You see, it is impossible for you to conceptualize or visualize yourself, and yet you know yourself fully in your reality, not here. Acha. Other someone has raised hand. Thank you. So Niranjan already came. Next one, Esther. Yeah, you should be unmuted now, my dear.
Father, can you hear me?
I can hear you well. I'm just waiting for you to show up on the screen now. Say something more, so you'll come up then.
Okay.
There you are. Yes. Ah,
Hi!
Esther.
That's my given name. Yeah.
Ah,
Prava.
ah, So happy to see you. It's been so long.
I know it's been a really long time.
So good, my dear.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. Um, So I have a question about um, what you were talking about with doership.
Yes.
So I find that I can really not believe any thoughts in most of my life, like
Yes.
doing daily activities, interacting with people, even doing my job, um, because that's all kind of, even doing my job, it's like the thoughts are superficial and they're practical. Um, and even though attention goes there, then it kind of, after the job is done, like I'm immersed in that, but then I just go back. Um, but I find that when now I'm looking for a new job, so thinking about career and moving, and that actually brings up the person identity,
Yeah.
and that is something that I find, how do I, because it's practical mind, but it's also linked with personhood. So I'm struggling with that a little bit.
I see. I see. So, is it clear to you that this, you see, this is just happening as spontaneously as everything else in this waking state, or do you feel like there's some agency you're exerting on it?
Both. It goes in and out. Sometimes there's a
Yeah.
sense of doership and I'm
Yeah.
aware of it. Sometimes I'm seeing that it's happening automatically, but there's still a sense of doership, like
So
spontaneously.
don't diagnose it for previous Prabha and don't diagnose it for later Prabha. We're just dealing with Prabha now. You see? So just try to meet it right now. So move your hand. You see? How you do it.
I don't know.
You see? So there is no individual there. There is no individual entity who is able to fire the neurons and say, this is how I fire my neurons and move my hand, you see? So there's just a greater intelligence which is making all of this function. From the experience here, I can tell you that these words are coming out of this mouth, but nobody is exerting that agency or volition to be able to say them, you see? And yet it is happening. This hand is moving. I am seeing it like you're seeing it, you see? So on the screen of this projective light of consciousness on itself, this movie is playing out, you see. Movie seems to be the theme today, so we'll stick with that. It's playing out, and we're just watching all of this, do you see? Just like a dream. In a dream also you can feel like I did this and then I did that, but when we wake up we see that the entire dream was within us, isn't it? And all the activity was within the same consciousness, you see. So if you can see that now, then that is more than enough, you see. Don't try to project it into the future and say, can I always see it? You see, will my life be fixed? Would I have dropped doership now forever? Don't bother with any of that. That is future Prabha's problem. Let her deal with it. She will have a future Ananta to help her.
What about the thoughts?
Yeah.
For example, like the actions happen. That's not the problem. The problem is
Yes.
a thought will come. Well, let's say researching happens for a job.
Yes. Yes.
Thoughts comes, or a feeling comes. Okay, I'm going to apply.
Yes.
But then more thoughts come about, I don't know, maybe it's not a problem.
It's not a problem actually. You're right, but suppose it was. What do we do? So I'm not talking about any state or activity or inactivity of the body. You see, I'm not saying that you must do ta 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 or you must sit shanti shanti. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying leave those activities to consciousness. You see, leave those activities to consciousness. Inwardly, you remain open and empty. So when thoughts come, let them go. If more thoughts come, let them go more. You see, there's nothing that you have to worry about. If you ended up picking a thought and saying, yes, yes, I have to do this, or why am I not getting this job? I really want it. You see, suppose you got caught, what to do? Don't sit and think, oh, why did I get caught? I shouldn't have done that. That's adding more trouble. You see, just let go then. That's all.
I think I was watching a satsang with you previously. We were talking about the link between action and thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe a little bit where I'm struggling is, do I need practical thoughts to do the practical actions? Even just the thought of, well, maybe I should take this certification or something. Like, do I need that thought to actually do the certification?
You are God, you are consciousness. You see, consciousness doesn't need anything to help it along the way. So, depending on what you take yourself to be, you see. So, once you see that I am just this being, I am just this beingness, in fact, I am that which is aware even of this being, then the question sort of dissolves. It is only when you zoom into yourself in a limited way and say, I am just this body mind, you see, therefore, then do I need my practical mind? Because as God, that question would be absurd, isn't it? So, so you are being introduced to the reality of your divinity, of your divine presence, and that divine presence is that which gives light to this entire universe. You see, and I keep taking these examples that there are some birds actually in the first year of their life. You see, and these are birds which are not in a flock. You see, first year of their life, the season changes and they start flying in the direction in which they are supposed to. They migrate to the place where they're supposed to go, you see, and they just land up on that beach. So it seems like a very practical problem. I have to migrate, you see, but there's no other bird telling them you have to do this. Hopefully, there are not these thoughts saying, where do I fly? How do I do it? You see, and still something is guiding that movement, you see, and that something is the divine intelligence called consciousness. Just like the plants are growing, the birds are flying, children are living their life very free from all this thought oppression, and yet everything seems to unfold beautifully. In the same way, you can allow this life to unfold, you see, and full activity can happen from this body, or full lack of activity can happen from this body. But as long as you are inwardly open and empty, there is no trouble. You see, that's why Master Bankai said, all things are perfectly resolved in the unborn. You see, he said all things are perfectly resolved in the unborn. So what is the unborn? It's the same, open and empty. And what about the link between a thought and action? There is none. The only link between anything in the manifest is consciousness. The only cause is consciousness.
So, is there a need for practical mind? Like, is practical mind even real? Is it something that, like, when you say don't believe your next thought, does that include? I mean, I know I don't need to believe practical thoughts, they just happen and maybe there's no link with the action, but is there a reality to practical thoughts? Like, do you ever use your
The
practical
thought is
mind, or is it
actually,
all?
yeah, there even that segregation or distinction between practical or impractical or spiritual or other types of thoughts is just not needed. A thought is a thought. It's just an energy construct which is trying to convince you about a version of reality, saying this is how things are. You see, this is what this is. That is what it's trying to present to you, but it's never the reality of your truth. You see, it is just a representation which is never true. So I would actually recommend forget about the distinction between practical and impractical, and just let go. All things are resolved in the unborn. You see, otherwise it's so difficult, no? It sounds very difficult. If I had the project that I'm going to keep distinguishing between this was a practical thought, but that was a spiritual thought. So I should meditate every day. Is that a practical thought? You see, and then you come to these gray areas, but that is not. That is a thought full of identity. You see, so forget all that project is not needed. You don't need to figure this thing out. Just let go. You'll be just fine.
That's a relief. I think I was like, okay, I don't believe most of my thoughts, but I have believe these practical thoughts, and it was kind of creating something. Okay.
And and provisionally, based on your conditioning and where you are, then masters will of course give you different guidance and say, this is what you must do, this is what you must not do. at this point, the guidance that is coming up for you is just forget about all these distinctions and don't bother. You see? And you'll see that whatever has to happen just seems to happen. I'm so happy to see you.
Me
I got
too.
quite a surprise. I got quite a surprise. Some beautiful memories of you in Bangalore, actually. So happy to see you.
Thank you so much, Baba.
Thank you, my love. Thank you. How long has it been since you were here?
It's been um, that was back in 2016, so it's been 4 years. It's been over 4 years. Um,
Yes. But now that you're here, it doesn't seem like any time has passed.
it really doesn't. It doesn't.
You know who this one is? Prabha. You remember Prabha? So Prabha is from America, no? And she won't mind me sharing this story, hopefully. So I remember this story about her very well. So she's an American and she speaks in an American way. And then one day, no, she's an American. So one day what happened is somebody in the satsang needed Russian translation. Uh, so he started speaking Russian, and here's this American girl who just started speaking Russian, and I was like, "What's happening here?" Yeah, isn't it? So I don't know if she remembers actually. And then she said somebody from her mother's side or something was Russian or something. It was a very funny thing. I said, how come she? Because I grew up in the Cold War, no?
I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
I remember these things. Sometimes the strangest things I remember. I remember one time also that after satsang we started playing some bhajans and things like that. And satsang would have gotten over at 7 o'clock or something. But then we kept playing these songs, and the bhajans went into all the pop songs and everything, and everybody started dancing. And Prabha is sitting very quietly next to me. She's not moving at all. Then after like an hour of everyone dancing, she said, "Okay, that's it." Then, so she stands up and brings out such moves, you never expect. So, you remember this or no?
I remember that.
I would be worried if you didn't remember. I'd be like, "Am I just making this stuff up?" Very sweet memories. So good, such a nice surprise. Thank you. Questions? All is good? Don't presume what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it, of course, but don't presume it. Okay, thank you, my love. Someone has to go. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Looks like everyone's sorted, no? Tomorrow, so many satsang announcements will come. Right? Looks like you have a question. I was scared to
I
ask.
have a question,
Yeah.
but I don't know what it is.
Ah.
You know?
Then how you know it's there? It's like something is feeling like unsettled, but you're not able to now. That's very good actually. That wobbliness, as I call it. You see, where you feel like you're looking for some branch to hold, but the branch comes and you say, you see, branch comes. You see? And you can just feel like a bit unsettled. You see, because you feel like something is left unresolved, but that is true resolution. To allow yourself to wobble and not have to settle for some construct, you see, is true satsang. As you're able to meet yourself in that open way without having to conclude some conceptual idea. That's why something I was asking the other day, what is the resting place? And if you notice the mind, it will always have like an opinion or something to say and say, you can rest on this is what is going on. You see? But without that, because we got so used to resting on conclusions, you see, when we have no branch to hold, it can feel a bit shaky. But that shakiness is good, it's shaking out all the false conditioning. You see, sometimes it can seem very scary actually.
Sometimes I feel that even the thoughts, even though we may call them negative thoughts or something, they have their purpose to
Yeah, of
do
course.
something. For example, if you have to go for work, there's some thought of frustration will come
Yeah.
which will make you do something or
Yeah.
not do something. Eventually, so
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
do be whatever that's well.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. So in reality, consciousness cannot obviously be opposed to thoughts, although we're always picking on them, no? Always picking on the mind because its representations of you are not the real representations, but even that is in the play of consciousness. And what is the purpose they're serving? Just the play. Yeah. And they're playing very well, the mind.
And sometimes if we do get obsessed with them,
Hmm.
believe in them, then we can miss.
Yeah, but what he's saying is from the even higher perspective, even that play of delusion and letting go of delusion is part of the overall play of the joy of consciousness, or if you want to even give it some explanation like that. So nothing is inherently good or bad. Nothing is inherently negative or positive. You see, in fact, it is that intellect which keeps us in that prison. The longest Jyotima has gone without a question.
I'm just
Framing.
inside
It is framing it.
Now, so there's this idea that if I fully could see or accept or whatever, that every thought is just a thought.
Yes.
I wouldn't need to be vigilant, like the checker guy wouldn't be needed, which seems to be the theme here, is to keep checking. And like meta and going backwards, it just carries on, the chain is endless. So, and then
So what do you need? What did you say?
So-
If you could only?
if you recognize
Yes.
that every thought.
What do you mean by recognize?
Yeah, exactly. So
Conclude?
then,
Does it mean conclude?
Yes, and I was coming there because
Yeah.
then I was like, who would be free?
Hmm.
Who would then
Okay.
become free? If,
Yeah. Exactly.
Who would be that one who
Yeah.
now got free of those thoughts?
Yeah.
Was the last
Yeah.
stop in the chain of
Correct.
thoughts. And then you look at me and
It sounds like if I could only be convinced, you see,
Yeah.
but it's not a question of conviction or belief.
yeah.
You see,
Okay.
when we use the word recognize, because
Yeah.
recognition is always you recognize a thought as whatever. I mean, you don't have to label it to recognize it, no? And you don't have to know the name. This is a rose to recognize a rose. You don't have to say this is a flower to recognize a flower. So you notice the perception.
Yeah.
You see, that is you cannot help that. That happens on its own. So when you say if I could only recognize that it's just a thought, that means if I could just be that convinced
Yeah.
of this thought that it is just a thought, then I would be more free. But that is not needed. You are free. That's what I was saying. Let's start here, no? Now tell me from here. Free. Now. You see? You see? And there's no special timing to when we can do this. It's always true. So, the problem that we are trying to fix is never experienced. You see? Is never experienced. You only experience. So, bondage is never an experience, even a manifest experience. The person is never a manifest entity. It's always just a thought up one. Always just a thought up one. Suppose the point was not to settle for a conclusion. Even that one. It's a habit, no? Grab. You see, what have I collected? You see? And then we look at it as, what do we come to satsang for? I feel like it's good to clarify that rather than doing it 10 years later. I disappoint you for 10 years. And I came for this. You see? What do we come to satsang for? Honestly. Not, oh, I just enjoy being with you, so on, all lies. Just. What is it? Huh? Truth? And what is the outcome? Best case outcome, best case scenario.
No, but initially I used to come for an outcome.
Yeah.
To get something.
Yeah.
But that sort of changed.
Yes.
And I can't describe
Yeah.
now why. I come because it just
Yeah.
makes sense.
Sense?
Things.
That's quite a undeserved compliment. Because I make no sense.
No, that is
No.
It feels like this is the only place where you speak about the truth and you
Yeah.
get to contemplate the things that is most important.
No.
And it's just,
Tell me one thing that I've said which is true.
then,
It cannot be spoken. And yet it can be pointed to. So that's what you're saying. You come to satsang because this is the rare place where we are pointing to that which is not speakable, it is ineffable,
and there's also a place where I'm not picking up stuff.
not picking up.
Like, I'm just like,
Yes.
I'm leaving everything.
Leaving. That's the point. You come to this school to unlearn. You see, you go to other school to learn.
But sometimes it feels like you want to run away. I mean,
Yeah.
I just love being
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was understanding
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But the minute it's now reached the point where that understanding is becoming the headache itself,
Yes. Exactly.
Hare Krishna, I'm like, why don't I just go somewhere else? Why do I have to, it's finding every.
But what do you need to be empty? Where do you need to run? To not trouble yourself. To be without the
But
headache.
now I know that wherever I go, it will be, I can't, this mind will go with me. Now that
You know,
I kind of get the feeling now that wherever I may go anywhere, this one's going along.
what about if you go to sleep state?
Oh, that's wonderful. That's the only space now. It feels like it.
Okay, so what changed for you between sleep state and now?
Well, in sleep state, there was no one to believe or disbelieve anything.
Okay, now
And
who is
what
there?
was that?
Now who is there?
Now there's this confused being who's very confused.
And being is what? God.
I'm not putting a label because I can't say anymore. I'm
Put a
really
label.
being upfront now.
Oh, really?
See, I cannot say because that's the confusion.
Upfront means what? I'm speaking the truth.
No, upfront means you believe me, I'm saying it from my heart, this is how I feel, and all that's what I'm saying.
But you're convinced that the version of reality that you're sprouting out of your mouth is
Right.
true? Or it's light and conversational?
That's the whole crux, Father. That sometimes it feels it's because I'm feeling it, so it's real. And then the more I sit here, I see it's not real.
Okay, what is real right now? Right now. Say something true.
If I say my feelings are real or what I'm feeling, then it feels.
What are you feeling?
When you ask me, I'm feeling nothing now because you're looking at me and I'm not feeling it any. They just dissolve.
Okay, what else is true? And I'd really be interested in asking you,
Sense
what
of-
benchmark are you using to determine true?
I'm determining. I'm using.
If it is a perception, does it make it true? That's so non-Vedantin of you.
I forgot that sentence long ago. If it appears, that comes a little bit later on in life because the first. Sometimes when it's strong, it feels.
Isn't it Vedanta 101?
Perception is not true. Just now you said is it a
Nitya,
perception?
Nitya, Viveka.
Well, I forgot everything.
Everything? That's good. Now?
Now, I don't know. That's the problem.
How do you know it's a problem? Like, I don't know anything. And sometimes we can say, I don't know anything. And sometimes we can say, I don't know anything. You see? And in both those representations, there is still some knowing. No? Although we may be saying, I don't know anything. Can you see what I'm saying?
I see.
Like, one is with the knowing that this is not good, and one is the knowing that, this is so good. You cannot do it with this tool. You cannot crack this with this tool, and that's why we are tired. You
Yeah,
know?
because that's the whole. So now you see what happens.
So leave that. Leave
Okay,
that.
okay,
Now,
leave it.
leave the ability to interpret and judge, which is the intellect. Now,
That's good. I'm serious. It's absolutely fine.
it's just what is. You see? And we've got accustomed to the operation of this tiny instrument called intellect because we keep relying on its version for what is. But what is so beyond it. You see? And that recognition, that seeing, that self-knowledge is just organically there without having to take it through this instrument. So self-knowledge is your very nature. You are not confused about yourself. You only start to get confused if you try to figure it out. Isn't it? And we're thinking we're making progress in the figuring outing because we gather more and more concept, but it's no progress that way. It's just a letting go. I love you too. Thank you, everyone. Namaste, Father. Yeah, and again now my daughter is sleeping and body is warm again. She was all right in the morning. Please requesting for your prayers and blessings, Father. Yes, my dear. All. Yeah, the feeling here is that she'll be just fine. She'll be fine. Some of you are saying some things. Did I ask a question? You said freedom. One said to see the movie as movie, to be reminded, to be free from me. I must have asked something. I'm sure.
Purpose of coming to satsang.
Ah, why do you come to satsang? Ah, thank you. Thank you. Not reminded, just like get another mind about something, but to remember something that was never forgotten, but somehow got obscured. Yes. Just wanted to connect with you. You mean you want to come up or? To forget about it. One sec. Okay, one hand is up. Galaxy tab. Let's see. Ah, is that you, my dear? Yes, yes, yes. I don't
Okay.
hear you at all. Ah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll come as close as possible.
yes. I
Like
hear
this?
you well. Yes, yes.
Okay. It's not very comfortable. So actually, um, do you still hear me? Is
Yes,
it
I can hear
loud
you
enough?
still. I can hear
Okay.
you.
I'm with an old um, question. Yes, I may be very confused. I'm sorry. I just have to jump in this now
Yeah, yeah.
um, because we are talking. I must be very slow because
Yes.
I'm looking for my way.
Sure, take your time,
Um,
please. No problem at
yes,
all.
yes, yes. Thank you. Because yes, these questions you just raised now. Why are we coming for satsang, for instance? Uh, I I just continuously say to love and
Ah,
instead of to love instead of thinking. It's just I don't know how why I say this. It's just how it comes
yes.
because it's felt and because I'm still stuck in much thinking. Stuck is maybe
Yeah,
sounds very dramatic, but it is not so so,
yeah,
so dramatic. It's just seen.
yeah,
Something is still stuck, and it's some frustration, and with the frustration, that, because the thinking is seen as something as a very old habit to hold, to get hold. It's
yeah,
it's the ego itself wanting to hold himself through thinking somehow.
yes,
And so if I say I want to love is just because love is life itself, and I, I long for, I have a longing for this flow I already know actually, but who's impeded still and putting so so much expectation, which is an old, which is seen as an old program. So let's say it like this, and so to go straight to the point somehow is it's about you know, I've been raised in with the influence of Steiner. I don't know if you know him well, Rudolf Steiner.
Sorry, what please?
No,
China?
Rudolf Steiner. You do? Have you heard
Oh,
of him?
Steiner. Rudolf Steiner. Ah, yes, yes, yes. I don't know him well, but I have heard of him. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So just to put it in what my concern is about how I received some things and how it's not it doesn't belong to him. It's the way I've received it anyway.
Yeah.
As I feel when I say loving instead of thinking is because I thought I have been growing up with the impression of that I have to understand the whole world, understand in a very dynamic sense and very in his the words I will use are mine. I cannot translate his posture
Yeah.
is beyond my. But the way I received it is um, our existence is made for to go into the God's plan. Let's say maybe shortly like this. Plan is maybe not the right word, but in God's doing
Yeah.
and uh, um, come into his doing with consciousness, with conscious watching, which has not to do with previous planning, but understanding how it unfolds. And spiritual life would be this uh, live knowingness, which has to go through um, some zero to be fresh, to be really real knowing, but nevertheless it is a knowing, a watching, and describe and an ability to describe and to. It was felt by me like this, and as an ability to describe and to go into the processes of nature in very refined way, and so on. Maybe I stop here and I just have some break.
It's good. It's good. Thank you for that report, my dear. Thank you so much.
And
And
so the way, yes, sorry, just it's. I suppose you get my point, but it's how I was very. I am still very directly attracted to Advaita and you, all your lineage and what is below this. So I feel both ways don't exclude themselves, but I'm mixed up still.
Acha.
And I have still some I still experience some pressure to accomplish something which is beyond my abilities or yeah.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. I get a sense of what you're saying now. So you've grown up in a particular way in which there are some pointers which are provided so that you can be free, and also you are attracted to Advaita and listening to satsang, and coming together, because they are two different conceptual frameworks, they can seem like it leads to some confusion. So confusion in itself is not necessarily a bad thing, actually. In fact, it may be much better. If you were convinced about everything that I have said, then I would definitely have to say something to confuse you. No? Because that is not the state we are going for. It is not that you have made a proper house of cards out of the conceptual framework which Ananta shares. The point is to be empty of all conceptual frameworks. So, and it happens many times for those in satsang that they feel like they're completely convinced about what Ananta is saying, and therefore they must be free. But it is just not like that. You see, only those who are completely empty of whatever can be said or not said, those are free. You see, so I'm happy in a way that this conceptual confusion is there. One teacher or one line of concepts is saying like this, another line of teachers and concepts is saying like that, like that. Now, what is the trouble? The trouble is that in our intellect, we have learned that one of them has to be true or truer. You see? And if you indulge me for a moment, I will share something with you which maybe you've heard from me before. You see? But it is more of a Western concept that something has to be true and something has to be false. You see? Or a thing cannot be both true and false. In religions like Buddhism, there was true, there was false, there was both true and false, and there was neither true nor false. Four options were there. Whereas in the Western intellect, something can either be true or it can be false. You see? So, and that's why we've got stuck in this idea that something has to be, what am I thinking? Is what I'm thinking true? What is he saying? Is it true or is it false? You see? So we got stuck in trying to make those determinations, and our thoughts have oppressed us in this way. You see? But if I was to tell you that both of what you're hearing from both types of teachers is both true and false, what will you do with that? You will say, oh, you've not helped me, but you've confused me more. You see?
No,
Now,
no.
good, good. So, but the beautiful thing is that in the sharing of the Buddha, for example, he used a notion called the fifth. You see, which is beyond true, beyond false, beyond true and false, and beyond neither true nor false. You see, this is called the fifth, and everything that I'm sharing in satsang is for that fifth.
Yes.
You see, and how do you meet the fifth? You meet the fifth, you cannot meet it in your head. You see, you cannot
No.
meet it in the same playground where confusion or clarity can come. You see, you can only meet it intuitively, you can only meet it in your heart. You see, and that's why satsang is to go from the head to the heart, is to go from
Yes.
our mental concepts to our intuitive knowledge. Now, if
Yes.
you right now, if you go to your heart, if you go to your intuition, presence, being, whatever term you want to use, what is it saying about this confusion?
It's okay.
Is it?
It's okay. It's just, I just, as I said, there are still habits of wanting to be righteous to a
Yeah.
certain expectation of processing the whole system. Let's say the to go into uh,
Yes,
um,
yes. I'll help you with that. Because that is the bane of human existence. You see, our need to be right about something, our need to understand, our need to know something. Whereas actually, in our intuition, everything is known. Everything that is in time, in space, and beyond time and space. You see, your intuition is only your only doorway to the truth. The master is only an expression of that very intuition. You see, so but the human condition is such that we have mistaken our conceptual or mental clarity to be a clarity of the truth, which this mind can never have. You
absolutely
see, you see. So let
that.
that confusion
Yeah.
happen in the head. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to resolve it. Let those conflicting thoughts fight. You see, but you step out of that playground. You see, you stay with me. You see, stay with me. It means stay in the heart. You stay with your intuition.
Yeah.
You see.
Thank you. Thank you. For me, love and intuition are almost synonyms.
Don't have to think about any of that also. Although it's
Yeah.
beautiful what you say, although it's very
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
what you say, but don't try to even determine what is the quality
Yes.
of love, quality of
Yeah.
illusion. Forget it. All that is in the head. You see, just leave it. Your true knowledge is always there. It makes no trouble with any of this. It is not trying to determine the nature of anything because it itself is the nature of everything. You see, and it knows itself completely, just not in the head. You see? So this is the nature of human conditioning, that we have some ideas and we are trying to come to a resolution of those ideas. You see, but we can just become empty of all of that. You will not lose. Somebody said before, maybe Pankaj or maybe somebody else said that you don't lose anything of value. You see, Niranjan probably said. You see, you don't lose anything of value. You don't lose anything precious once you let go of your conceptual understanding, because that is the fear, no? The fear is that without my head I will be lost. You see,
Yes.
but no, it is with your head you are lost. Without your head you are found. You see, and then from the spaciousness of your being, there is nothing in opposition to the head also. You see, so even that pointing is provisional, like he was saying. Everything is allowed to play. All the traffic is allowed to move on the road when you don't have the trouble of having to cross it. You see. So all that my sharing is for is to introduce you to your intuition, to introduce you to your heart. You see? So so as you meet that, as you meet this presence which is using this mouth to communicate your very own divinity, your very own presence, you see, then you will realize the frivolity of words and conclusions, and whether something is like this or something is like that.
Then you will realize what
the
the
frivol-
what of
the
what.
frivolousness of conceptual statements and conclusions, how tiny they are, how minuscule they are in relation to your reality, all our notions of true and false, all our notions of trying to determine what actually is or is not. You see. You see? So I am in this expression not at all concerned about uh, what kind of things you're hearing and things like this. As now, there's a simple rule: if you hear something that makes you empty and brings you to your intuition, brings you to your divinity, that is satsang. Whether whichever mouth that may be coming from, it doesn't matter. You see, if you hear something which makes you heavier in the head and makes you feel more right and that you know something, then that is not satsang, then that is ego. That is all that matters. You see, I don't care if you're hearing things from the mouth of a 7-year-old, but that is making you empty. That is, he is your master, it's fine. You see.
Yes.
You see? So that is why I never stop anyone from visiting other masters, listening to satsang, because any mouth can tell you something which will make you empty of this. The only caution is, the only advice is, if you're going and you're picking up a lot of concepts, if you're picking up a lot of baggage, then it's working in a counterproductive way. You see.
Yes.
And
That's true.
always, I want to give you one piece of good news to all of you. Always, your presence, your intuition is more accessible to all of us than our head is. We may not realize this. We may feel like it's more natural to go to our head, but actually, that is much more effort and hard work. You're returning to your naturalness, and you will see that it's so natural to just remain as being, you see, without having to take any condition onto ourselves.
Meet to the dentist.
Ah,
Balu's go.
okay. Is it? And there is nothing else that you need. All that you need to know, all that you need to understand is your very being. You see? Your very being contains everything that is needed. You see? So if you're confused, that means that your mind is confused, it is not able to settle on any concept. You see, not able to take a concept to be the truth, then that confusion is very good actually. One time someone asked, I have not heard much from Osho ji, but some one time when one lady she went to Osho and said that all my life I've been seeking God, and I came to you. I'm paraphrasing again, forgive me for that, but all my life I've been seeking God. I came to you searching for that divinity. Now you're saying there is no such thing as God. I'm completely confused. You see, she went to Osho and said like.
Now you say what? Now you say what?
Now he said to her that there is no such thing as God. Forget about it, or something like that.
I,
So she says to him, but now I'm fully confused. I was with you because I wanted God. You see? So you know what he said? He said, I can't. I'm going to do a very bad imitation. Okay, there's some Osho lovers here who will kill me. But but he said, baby, my whole job is to confuse you. You see? But as much of a joke as that might be, the fact is that that is very much a very potent pointer, you see. Because if you can make a construction out of the words of a master, then the master is not doing his job well or her job well. You see? And it can be very scary because we are trying to hold on to some ideas which we think are true, you see, but and that's why sometimes people get irritated saying, yesterday you were saying this, today you were saying that, it's all left, right, all over the place. You see, what is the truth? You see, then
that's what you started with today.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. What happens? What happens? What happens is that when we realize that this truth cannot be gathered up in our limited intellect, you see, we cannot measure the space in this tiny weighing scale, then we let go of that effort and we meet a greater intelligence for which none of this is a confusion. Self knowledge is its own nature, and that is all that you're being introduced to in satsang.
Yes.
And that is why the feeling here more and more is to share this, because I've seen many beings who have been in satsang for many years, but they're still playing the wrong game, you see. Still playing the game here of trying to come to some clarity or understanding, or when will I finally get it? And they have moments where they feel like I got it. Awareness, consciousness, manifest, body. You see, you have the full structure. Then something comes in life and it shakes them up and everything goes. But I'm supposed to be awareness. How can I be acting like this? You see, it's just the shaking up of conceptual framework. You see, so all of this which is shared with you in satsang is just pointers. None of it is true. You see, none of it is true. if you make tattoos out of these words, like Guruji says, don't make tattoos out of my words, then they will just cause you more suffering.
More
More suffering, even more suffering than before.
suffering.
Because you will now have made a prison with spiritual bars, you see.
Yes, yes.
And that prison with spiritual bars is very difficult to shake. Because yeah,
I,
if I say,
I, I,
why don't
I
you?
have experienced this. I
Yes,
have
yes.
experienced this.
And I have experienced this also because I will say to someone, why don't you inquire? They will say, but I'm not the doer. You see?
That's a
Because
good
now
one.
we have understood I'm not the doer, you see. So that prison is very difficult to break, the prison which is made of spiritual concepts.
Yes, 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 yes.
That is why the instant I notice that somebody does this conceptual spirituality, I try to cut it down to size as fast as possible.
Thank you for this.
Very good, very good, very
And
good.
yeah, and I thank you for, because satsang is really the sharing of this energy, this very energy you're describing, that
Yes,
keep flowing and not us, not get uh, 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 I don't find the English word stuck, but yes, just don't move anymore. So,
yes, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and yes, and this this is what you help us to do. Thank
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, my dear.
thank you.
Good. Okay, let's catch up with the chat now. I may miss a few things, but if you feel like you want to share them again, you can just copy paste once more. One says, Namaste, Father. I feel like a person since a couple of days. Feels like mind is trying to survive. Can we check it? Thank you very much, Father. Uh-huh. You want to come up and check, or how you want to check? Actually, to feel like a person is never true because there is no feeling like a person. A feeling is just a feeling. It does not construct a person. You see, what we usually say colloquially like that is that there's a feeling there which can seem a bit constricted, and I have a interpretation or a thought about it. Now, the combination of that thought and feeling, sometimes we call that mixture, that soup, a person. You see, but there's no feeling like person. No? There's no feeling like anything. But suppose that we say, okay, there's anger, there is lust, there is hunger, there is all of these feelings are there. You see, but there's no feeling like person. It's just a term we use like you. I just feel so much like a person, where we're saying that there's a sort of constricted feeling usually, and something which is saying this should not be here, or I should not have said that, or this one should not have said this to me, or some sort of interpretation mixed with that feeling. That is what we call the person. You see? That's why it's very nice just to see sometimes, because our mental interpretation of what is happening to us hardly ever matches even the phenomenal play. That's why many times I say you don't explain, you describe. You see, because by the time I hear your explanations, you're already far away from what even the phenomenal description of something is. Isn't it? Because you can say, I have all my life, all this has happened to me. I wonder when this will stop. You see, when will these feelings go away? And already so mixed up in the explanation and the story. Then you say, okay, but what is actually happening? And you say, I feel this constricted feeling in my chest. You see, and how big is it? It's very strong. It's very strong, Anant. Okay, how strong? No, but all my life I've had this, and when my this used to happen and that used to happen, just doesn't go, and I've dealt with this. No, but how strong? Stay with me. Then, yeah, it's here. No, it's here. Since this morning. No, not this morning. How? What's happening now? You see? It's here. How big is the space in which it is happening? I find no boundary. It's immense. Then how can this feeling as strong as the mind may be saying it is, how is it actually hurting that being? It isn't actually. You see? So at the level of description, it's very simple to pluck, you see. But if I have to deal with it at the story level, it's so much more complicated, because then we're dealing with a full history, with a full set of conditions and all of that, you see. That's why I say don't explain, you just describe. And because in our explanations we have inserted a false I into it, we've inserted the full baggage of the full story into it, and in India that story could be multi-lifetime, not just this life. Then one says, am I in the playground of intuition by default once I leave the playground of mind? Yes. I'm so happy with this question, you see. So happy. You see. In fact, I have to say that before, after, during, it's only there, but it seems as if when we go to the mind, then it seems to get obscured. Obscured maybe is a good word, but it seems to get blurred because we are playing with the mind. But actually you're just there by default. Your default state is freedom. Your default state is truth. You see? And that is an important switch in the life of a spiritual seeker. Because otherwise we got so caught up in our seeking and chasing a destination, we've stopped really looking at where I am. You see? That's why I say you never left the destination. You will never be anything more than what you are today. You can never be anything more than all there is. That is already true. It is already here. You are aware of your divine presence, and your divine presence has no boundary, has no limitation. It is the light of this universe. It is so already. And yet in this seeming play, it is playing as if it is this limited entity. Bhagavan said this very clearly. It is not that you will attain self-knowledge, it is only that you will let go of ignorance. It is not something that you are going to get. It is that which you already are. And yet in this play it seems like you're wearing these glasses. No? The other day I was saying that I was wearing these glasses and I was looking for them. Why can't you find your glasses when you're wearing them? You see? Because they are imperceptible. No? Like the frame seems to become invisible and you're just looking through, so you just see. But it's imperceptible. And in the world what happens is we've been taught that you only find something once you have the perception of it. Then we can say that I have achieved it. You see? But the self will be just like this imperceptible discovery. You see? Which is already yours actually. You have them on. The glasses are already on. You just need to see that this is true. One of my close relatives, she is a doctor, she was wearing contact lenses, no? And then she forgot she's wearing them. And then next day she put on another set of contacts thinking she's lost her set of contacts. So she put the contacts on top of the contact. You see? Because it's very much like the spiritual seeker. You are it already. You're still trying to get it. You see? You are not it in your story. You are not it in your mind. You are it just like that. Okay, good. Let's play a fun song. What is a fun song? What about that? Huh? Happy, happy. Don't worry, be happy. That's nice.
Here's a little storm-weary road for our master who we love the most. Don't worry, be happy. The master's words are pure and clear, so come on and gather near and don't worry, be happy. So come on round and gather close and open up to the Holy Ghost and don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy now. Jai
Ego's got you in some kind of trouble. Inquire within to pop that bubble. Don't worry, be happy. If there is a meaning to life, love gotta be free from strife. But don't worry, be happy.
Don't worry, be happy now.
Jai Mooji Baba shows us the truth, and your own heart is the proof. And don't worry, be happy.
To know yourself is the greatest bliss. Just fall into this divine kiss and don't worry. Be happy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Jaya Gurudev. Ain't got nothing to hold on to, 'cause I am nobody and so are you. But don't worry, be happy. Satsang is the master key, and it will set the whole world free. And don't worry, be happy. Jaya Thank you, Ramana and Papa G, for giving us our master Mujiji. Don't worry, be happy.
Then huh? Higher. Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher. Come live inside my home. You are my love alone. I am here in your holy fire. For I know you can take me higher. Higher, Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher, higher. Father, come and take me higher,
take me higher, higher. Father, come 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 take me higher, Father, come take me higher. Father, come take me higher. Holy Father, take me higher. Holy Father, take me higher. Holy Baba, take me higher. Father, come take me higher. Holy Baba, take me higher. Father, come and take me higher. Holy Baba, take me higher.
Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Satguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa ke.